Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reconstructing my 20.67 NR-mean FMC solutions. I'll include a link in the description to a document with full written solutions, so please click on the link and follow along. So this is the first scramble. The bad edge count is 4 on FB, 6 on RL and 2 on UD. There was 2 3-move EOs and lots and lots of 4-move EOs, and I'll start with a 4-move EO on FB. The bad edges are here, 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 and there's one back here. Now there's 2 ways of doing this in 4 moves on normal, and the way that I chose to do it was by doing a D2 to start. This brings 2 bad edges here and here, and there's still 2 here and here, so we can finish off the EO by doing R, L, and then I chose to do F prime. Now, this was quite unremarkable, but after switching and looking at the R, L sides, if we do a D move, you can see this leaves DR minus 1, 2, 3, 4 corners and 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, which is good. So I switched it once more, and this looks a lot nicer. So we have this domino bar here, this corner here, which is easily matched up with this edge. So that's what I did first. U2 gives us this sort of L shape, and then we want to bring this corner up with this pair here, whilst also sorting out this edge and this edge. And we can do that by doing L, B2. So we have one bar here, we have the second bar here, and then we have the 2 edges here. So simply doing RD gives us the domino in 10 moves, and this is a 2C4. And then after we switch, the 2 good corners in this case are here. By doing L prime, we get 2C3 for E, and now there's 2 ways to set up the 2 squares case in one move. Either by doing F2, set up 1 square here and 1 square here, or B2 here and here. I chose to do F2 and then R prime. This gets us 4B2, 4E, and we sort of have a square and this big L shape here. So now we can get to HR and 18 in 4 different ways, and the way that I chose to do it was by doing a D2, which kind of sets up the 4 move, 4B2, 4E trigger with these 2 J shapes. So we finish that off with an R, and then an F2, D2, and another R. And this is a really good HDR because with just a B2 and an F2, we leave the slice in only 20 moves, and with a 4/4 turn DR, that's very promising. So now to solve the slice, I've used RNIS, and I've picked out the sequence of moves that start with the first quarter turn and end with the last quarter turn of the DR. Now initially I did L' D2, but that sort of gives you this horrible M slice placement. So instead of R prime, L prime seemed like the reasonable way forward, and then F2. And now this looks a lot more promising. So we can now just finish this off with U2, L prime U2, R B2, L prime R2. So that's all the slice in 1 extra move, which is optimal for the domino. Now there was actually another 20 to slice from the same domino, which I think actually was a +2, and then I found another 21 to slice, which was +1 optimal. So quite a nice domino, and very happy to find optimal from it. So this is the second scramble, and it was amazing. It had 6 bad edges on FB, 4 bad edges on RL, and just 2 bad edges on UD. There were a total of 7 3-move EOs and loads more 4-movers, and I started on UD on the normal side. So there were 2 bad edges, they were here and here. So you could just do U prime F prime U for a 3-move EO, but I chose to extend that by throwing in a B2 to start with, then U prime F prime U. Now this is good because it leaves DR minus 4 corners and 4 edges. So I decided to switch this. And it looks quite nice on the other side. We have a pair here with an extra corner, a corner and another pair here. So we can pair up this corner with this pair by just doing F, L2. And we have this sort of L shape. Then we can make the 2 remaining columns by just pairing up this corner with this pair. So we can do F prime U2. So then we've got long bar here, another long bar here, F, B2 then sets them up nicely on one side, and then R to finish domino. So this is 4C3 and 11, which is not great for this kind of scramble, but I had a look at it for a second and realised that perhaps there'd be a nice short finish here because it's a lot of blocks. So we have this square, and we've got a pair, and there's another pair back here. So I kind of thought maybe a more traditional approach at solving DR would work here. So paired up the square here by doing a D2, and then this pair with this big block at the back with F prime L2. And then when I saw this, I realised I was very close to being solved. So by doing an F prime and then a U2, we move this square out of the way and we can easily pair up with this square, prime, U2 again, and then it's just 3 more moves to finish, B, L2, B, and we're solved in 21 moves, which is a lovely 5/4 hand solution to 4C3. This is the third scramble, and it's also a rather pleasant scramble with 6 bad edges on FB and then 4 bad edges on both RL and UD. So this time I decided to start on the inverse on RL, and there's 4 bad edges, 3 already on the L side and 1 up here. So there's 2 ways of doing this in 3 moves. We can either do L2 prime L, or we can do what I chose to do, which is B, D, L for a 3-move VO. I then decided to switch. And this is lovely because on the normal now, we can just do 1 more move to get JZP in 4, which is lovely. Now this is equivalent to a sort of 4B2 0E case, where the corners are here, 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 and here. So I knew there'd be lots and lots of ways of getting to DR in 10, and in fact there's the DR I worked with had 8 variations. So I start off by doing a B, and then a D2, and then we sort of have almost domino if we were to do an F move, but we just need to swap these 2 edges, and we can kind of do that by starting off with an L2, and then a U2, R2, and then B. So this is 4B2 40 in 10 moves, and I decided to switch. I was quite happy to see this when I switched. The corners are already split up in a sort of 2-2 configuration, and there's 2 bad edges on either side, so I knew that if we did a U prime, we'd end up with 4A1 4E in only 11. And I also knew that if we switch back to normal, every single one of those 8 variations would have 4A1 4E in 11 moves. So I knew there'd be a lot of good things to look at here. So after switching this specific variation, I realised this was quite nice because we have all the bad pieces up here except for 1 edge back here. So I know there's 4 different ways of getting into HDR in 15 here, and the one that I chose to do start with an L2, which sort of sets up these 2 J shapes here and here, and then we can finish off HDR by doing B2, L2, and then U prime. This looks really nice. We have these sort of blocky fish shapes on F and B, and then lots of squares. I realised quite quickly we can just solve this in 5 moves. We're doing F2, U2, B2, R2, B2 for a 20-move solution. One of these variations actually had a 12-move HDR, which led to another 20, but I don't need to show that. But yes, very happy with my NR mean. Also shout out to Dorian for his NRs as well. I'm sure he will get us over 20 soon. Thank you for watching.